You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
I still don't know what to say. So before we talk about the Miami Dolphins 27, Tennessee Titans 28 result, thanks for joining us on this live stream earlier than normal. Be like this for a few weeks at the very least. So to make sure you don't miss out, probably best that you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, click that icon bell so you know when we're going live. Obviously, do the nice stuff. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all the social medias. And if you're feeling generous around Christmas, then head over to Patreon/GoTimeDolphins and drop us a subscription there as well. Mr. Charlie Touche, how are you?
This is bad podcasting because I can't get it out. I can't say what I want to say, bro. All right, listen. If you let bad teams hang around long enough and not put them away like you're supposed to, then eventually it's going to come back to bite you. It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche, and I got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. And I just want to shout out all the fans across the pond, across the world, primetime game that stayed up wee hours of the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning to watch the Dolphins play, 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, all over the world, different time zones. And they stayed up and watched that. I work night shift right now, Kadeem. And I turned all the notifications off. I avoided everybody. I turned off all the text messages. I'm like, I think I'm safe. Told my coworkers, please do not spoil the game for me. I cannot wait to go home and live it up and have a happy morning. Like, yo, I'm gonna go home, watch the game, and go to sleep with a smile on my face. And everybody, to my dismay, obliged. Didn't know what happened. I made it home. Watched the game. It is not the game that I anticipated, but the Dolphins are up 14 points with 2 minutes left. Cool. We got the W. Matter of fact, Kadeem, I actually said at least the Dolphins pulled it out. With 2 minutes left on the clock, up 14 points. But you know what happened, Kadeem?
So
Go ahead. What you got?
a few things. So we've got some comments. Anthony Monzano says hi. So does Tim. Tim Cabo says, not going to lie, feeling tired now after being up most of the night watching that and then looking at the Twitter fallout. Anthony says, I'm done. Last season and this season have proven to me that Tua is great in September and October, but once it gets into November and December, he's under 500. Shout out to Robert Ashton, says, hi guys, been saving my holiday data. Might run out soon, so hi from, is it Hurghada? The Back It Up Binge podcast says, we will never get that 3 hours back. And then others say you don't have the right to criticize. That was tough. Hannah Montana says, hi. Digging in the Trenches says, what's up, pimps? And then Robert Ashton says, Charlie woke up to a nightmare. So I just want to give you my side of the story. So I didn't stay awake for the primetime game. I go to sleep, wake up around 3, 4 o'clock, and check my phone. Dolphins are down 10-7. And I'm like, hold on, what's this? Go on Twitter, and all my Twitter's like, Tyreek's back in the game. Like, here we go. So I'm like, you know what? I have to watch this game. It's one quarter. I'm good. Quarter's going on. Dolphins got up 14. Hannah Montana sleeping next to me, and I'm nudging her. Dolphins are winning. And she's like, F off. I'm trying to sleep. I'm like, I don't care. Like, Dolphins are winning. Dolphins are winning. You said it best. Up 14 with 3 minutes left on the clock. Titans have 3 timeouts, but it doesn't matter because the game is done. The Titans are dejected. The Dolphins are doing wheelbarrow celebrations in the end zone. Hey, we're 10-3. Hey, Charlie, what happens next?
You want to know what happens next, Kadeem? The Dolphins blow a 14-point lead to a team that already has their vacation booked before the season is even over. Like their vacations, their postseason vacations are already booked, and the Dolphins blew a 14-point lead to this team. Kadeem, I want to apologize to all the Dolphin fans that went to the game last night and thought they were going to see the soon-to-be division champion Miami Dolphins show up and perform. And instead, they came to watch a circus. The circus is in town, and that's what they got. Forget all the streaks. Forget all the undefeated home game, whatever. Ain't lose a game at home and whenever. I don't even know that stat. Tua threw a touchdown in 21 straight games, I think is a stat.
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill chasing 2,000. It's a lot going on in South Florida. We're gonna win the division, 1 seed, and don't mind if I channel my inner Jim Morris Sr. right now and say playoffs. Bro, if you play like that in the playoffs, Kadeem, someone's going to come into your home, beat you down, and send you packing in the first round. So all of this stuff, and bro, I have to humble myself. I sat here on this podcast in this chair, and I said some egregious things, bro. Like, we're not going to lose to the Titans, bro. We're not going to lose.
What did I say?
Bro, listen, we're not going to lose. It's not going to happen. Bro, you need to stop thinking about that. We're never, bro. And I am humbled before everyone today on live, Go Time Dolphins live. Like, we blew it, bro. We wet the bed, Kadeem.
It's funny because I predicted, I was confident the Dolphins were going to win this game, but I was like, I'm nervous. And I was like, any given Sunday, all of that stuff. And he was like, Kadeem, stop being stupid. The Dolphins will pull it out of the bag. And my sickness at 10-7 was like, I knew it. Like that feeling in my stomach was me going, yeah, the Dolphins aren't like nice things. At 27-13, I'm like, the game is done. Like I had nothing to be worried about. I don't care how we done it, but we done it. You know, we had injuries, but this team prevailed. This team showed that they never give up, and the game is not done until the game is not done. And the Titans said, "You're right. The game is not done until the game is done, and hold this." And it was just like, listen, I know you're not a Twitter person. Twitter in the aftermath was insane. I genuinely feel like there's a lot of people who are waiting for this Tua game to say, I told you so. He's not the guy. I told you about this team. This team isn't this team. All that kind of stuff. I've seen people saying this loss is on Bradley Chubb. When Bradley Chubb threw his helmet and cost us. Listen, on the Bradley Chubb stuff, that didn't really make much of a difference because the Dolphins went up 27-13. At that point, no one talking about the Bradley Chubb helmet thing. It's like the Dolphins found a way to win on prime time, and they're beat up right now. Another injury. Shout out to Connor Williams, friend of the podcast, Javon Holland, Tyreek Hill, but it doesn't matter. We've got the paper planes on Sunday. Let's just get ready for that. And it seems very much that Bradley Chubb and the rest of the Dolphins were on that, were thinking ahead. Because Bradley Chubb came out and said after, and I don't want to misquote it, so let me get this perfect. Shout out to the person who shared this in the Dolphins UK chat. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Shout out to Paul. He said, oh, this is from Cameron Wolf, but Paul posted this in the Dolphins UK chat. That Chubb admitted they saw a lot of potential playoff scenarios coming into the game. When you see a goal in front of you, cruise control is a natural instinct. Chubb later admitted in the fourth quarter, we probably let our foot off the gas a little bit. A little bit. You allowed Will Levis and the Titans to drive down the field not once, but twice, barely using any timeouts and score 15 points. And you had no answer. But listen, it's one game. We're still 9-4. It's still in our hands. It's just very disappointing to lose in that manner.
Kadeem, I told you Friday when we recorded the podcast. Oh, 6 p.m. London time, mate. I'll make it. You know what I'm saying? And I text you in the morning after I watched the game, bro. Just watch the game, going to sleep. I don't think I'm gonna make it in time for the podcast because I'm gonna be sleeping. Surprise! Ain't no sleep for me, bro. Because I was trying to sleep and I'm like, yo, did I really just watch that? You know what I'm saying? Like, here I am wide awake, like nightmare for sure. You know what I'm saying? Listen, Vrabel was on the sideline early in the game, like first half, just shaking his head at everything. Like, I knew it was gonna look like this. Like, how are we gonna stop these dudes? And all this other good stuff. Like, oh yeah, it's fun, right? Until it's not. Bro, I can't. We have friends. Same Old Dolphins podcast. And I'm sure they get a lot of flack for the name of their podcast. But I thought of them last night, Kadeem, because this is so Miami Dolphins of the Miami Dolphins, bro. And I push back with Josh from time to time, Josh Kasker, and say, yo, we can't put that on this team, and you can't put the shortcomings of yesteryear of prior teams on this team. Kadeem, we liken this podcast to a relationship with women. And the Dolphins, and you heard me say this before, the Dolphins are like, we have this relationship with the Dolphins where it's like, yo, I've been loyal to you my whole life, Miami. I've been wearing and rocking the aqua and orange my whole life. And this is how y'all treat me? You know what I'm saying? Almost as if they cheated. Like, yo, you did this again to me? You know what I'm saying? Like, just when I thought we were good, this is how you treat me? You know what I'm saying? And that's what the Dolphins are doing again. Like, I've been here before and I felt this feeling like, nah, bro. And y'all don't even want to know why I text Sherrod Steve this morning, because he texted me some stuff and I texted him about like, nah, bro.
So it's obviously, again, shout out to everyone in the comments. Robert Ashton says, when, and I say when we get to the playoffs, this game should be on repeat for game prep. If they need any more motivation than that, we are cooked. Listen, this game needs to be on every day this week, saying, listen, like we've had our slip up. That's it. That's the one slip up we get from now until next preseason, because we're winning out from here on out. Shout out to Color Commentary. He says, we are suffering from batter syndrome for sure. Digging in the trenches says, no expectations, aqua and orange. For me, it's, and again, in the aftermath, everyone's like, I told you so, this team, same old Dolphins, all the good Dolphin stuff. And like you, it was like 5 a.m. in the morning, and I was just like, I can't sleep. But I was like, hold on, let's get some perspective. While this is a Miami Dolphins ending out of all Miami Dolphins endings, I think what hurts me more is that it wasn't expected. It's one thing to be let down when you have no expectations, but we went to this game with expectations, and some people say that that makes it even worse. But for me, it's a case of how do you bounce back from this? This isn't a case of that. It's again, I said on the preview episode, the Titans won't beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins will beat the Dolphins. And yes, the Titans drove down the field twice, all that kind of stuff. It was just miscommunication on the back end, this offensive line. Again, now it's all we told you to go get offensive linemen, all this kind of good stuff. Listen, you don't expect Connor Williams to do his ACL, it's suspected during the game. And then you're down to essentially 4 backups and fender podcast Austin Jackson. And once that happened, the Titans said, we're going to blitz you. Even if you get the ball out really, really quick, you can't get out in 1 second because we're going to blitz you over and over and over again. We're 9-4. We have 4 games left, but it's still in our hands. It just means we have to win out from here on out. But we needed to do that to keep the 1 seed anyway. So it's annoying. The doom and gloom is obviously justified at this point, but I'm not. For once, I'm being the positive one. I expect this team to beat the Paper Planes. They're still the Paper Planes. And regardless of the result against Tennessee, we would have had to have beaten Dallas, the Ravens, and the Bills. Like the objective is still the same. Nothing has changed outside of we are 9-4 instead of 10-3. Like we still need to win the rest of our games.
That's very good perspective, Kadeem. But here's some more perspective. Everything happened in favor of the Miami Dolphins. When Green Bay beat the Chiefs, we got a more cushion. Buffalo came back from the bye, beat the Chiefs as I expected them to, gave us some more cushion over the Chiefs. What else? Everything happened except, Baltimore didn't lose to the Rams in overtime, but that would have just been too good, right? So everything happened in our favor and everything was handed to us. It was right there. But you know what it looks like now for perspective, Kadeem? If we lose one more game and Buffalo wins out, Buffalo wins the division. That simple. Like all that, Buffalo might not play the playoffs. Nah, bro. Because now all of a sudden, they're only 2 games behind us, and they will have the tiebreaker. So all of the 1 seed nonsense, all of the division talk, all of the 2,000 yards, we're going to break the record, first receiver ever. None of that matters, bro. And all of a sudden, you have pressure on you. This is real. What's that pressure cooker pressure? Like, this is pressure now. Yeah, you got the paper plane Sunday, but what happens in the last 3 games of the season when, in essence, not really the playoffs don't start in the last 3 games of the season, but it is playoff football for sure in the last 3 games of the season. And now you got somebody clipping at your heels. Why they say clipping at your heels? We'll figure that out some other time.
But that's the thing. To me, it's that the Bills were always behind us, and they're still behind us. Like I said, we had to win out to get the 1 seed, regardless. Like you could have essentially beaten Tennessee, beaten the Paper Planes, beaten the Cowboys, and beaten the Ravens. And if results go your way, then that game against Buffalo means nothing. But I don't think we thought that. We expected to beat the Titans and beat the Paper Planes, but Buffalo was still clipping behind us, and that's why we had that conversation, and so many fans did as well. Who do you want to win between Kansas City and Buffalo? Buffalo winning basically gives us a favor on the Chiefs, but Buffalo winning means they're behind us. We just didn't expect us to drop the ball. But like I said, the objective before kickoff on Monday night was win out. The objective after Monday night is win out. Nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed, you have less room for error. But that's assuming that, okay, imagine on Sunday we beat the Paper Planes and Dallas beat Bills, then we're back to where we are. 3 games with 3 games left. It just means that we essentially definitely cannot lose to Dallas and the Ravens.
All right, let's talk about this game a little bit because we haven't really talked about the game. We just got some things off our chest. Matter of fact, before we actually talk about the game, Tyreek Hill might be the MVP, bro. Because like last episode, I like, well, everyone knows it's really Tua because we seen the team without Tua. Now we kind of seen the team without Tyreek Hill, and he might be the MVP because there's just we seen the team without Tua, and there's just we know what that looks like. But without Tyreek, it does look different, and to have that performance without Tyreek Hill on prime time for the world to see, and everyone already said it's not Tua, and it's Tyreek. It's because of Tyreek. It's because of Tyreek. Well, here it is under the lights. You know what I'm saying? There's no Tyreek, and you had your chances to put this game to bed and put a lot of narratives to bed.
But then, do you not think? And again, I'm not trying to give excuses for Tua, but do you not think he was down? He'd been down to the bare bones in the offensive line multiple times this season, but it was once again Lee Meichenberg at center, Lester Cotton, friend of the podcast Austin Jackson. I can't remember who else was in the offensive line. It's like you are now once again down to guys you don't really want to be on the offensive line this late in the season. And I think we kind of spoke about how this Titans defense, or the Titans, front line at the very least, is good. We're missing Jeffrey Simmons, so we thought it wouldn't be as good. But they're like, no, we've still got. Listen, it's just annoying that happened in prime time, like you said, for the whole world to see. But Tim Cavill says, do you think the Cowboys pods and fans will like this after the Cards, KC after Denver, Eagles after Paper Planes, Bulls after Pats, Paper Planes, and Denver? Digging in the trenches says, only thing that changed is fans' confidence. And then Color Commentary says, here's the sitch. 4 out of 4 gets us the 1 seed. 3 out of 4 wins the East. Aside from any of our opponents' outcomes. And that's why I agree with what I was saying. 5 out of 5 was the 1 seed prior to the Titans. 4 out of 5 was the East, maybe even a 1 seed. It's now just like we've lost a bit of wiggle room, but this time next week we could be sitting there going, well, we beat Dallas, regardless of what the Bulls do, then that's it. So, hey, Miami, give us a Christmas where you win that. That becomes a new T-shirt and hat game. So, yeah,
wiggle room, bro. Like this is real pressure, Kadeem. This is like we was on cruise control. We were driving with no hands in our Tesla. Like, hey, we chilling. Hey, just type in the destination. You know what I'm saying? That's how we look 2 days ago. You know what I'm saying? Like we're cooling. Now there's we over here, we strapped up, seatbelt on, 10 and 2. Like, yo, let's get to the destination.
But like we say this over and over again, as podcasters, we could be on cruise control. The team can't, because you have to play. And that's what made me nervous on Friday. I was like, yo, any given Sunday or any given Monday, in my mind, we've still got a cushion over Buffalo. You've just lost a bit of wiggle room. Like, worst case scenario, you lose to Paper Planes and Buffalo win. You're still ahead of them. You just now have to win out. Like, that's the worst case scenario.
No, it's not. Like, worst case scenario is you beat the Paper Planes, get smacked by Dallas because you haven't beaten good teams, get smacked by Baltimore because you haven't beaten good teams, and then Buffalo puts you in the 7th seed. That's the worst case scenario. And Buffalo wins the division, by the way.
No, but I'm talking next week, because again, even if we had beaten Tennessee and we beat the Paper Planes, it's the exact same scenario. It's no good beating the bad teams if you can't beat the good teams, because what will happen is that you finish the season 10-6 or 10-7, and was like, how have you done that? Regardless of the result against Tennessee, you had to beat Dallas, you had to beat Buffalo, and you had to beat the Ravens. You lose to Tennessee, and guess what? You have to beat Dallas, you have to beat the Ravens, and you have to beat Buffalo. Nothing's changed. It's still in our hands. We have the wiggle room. Like, the season hasn't ended today. And that's the thing. It's like, Digging the Trenches said it perfectly. Our confidence is down, but if we beat the Paper Planes and Buffalo loses, Monday's going to be like, we was worried about nothing. Worried about absolutely nothing.
Bro. No. I disagree. Because we still wanted to get a 1 seed. And
how'd you get the 1 seed?
It's harder now to get the 1 seed because of this loss that was not accounted for. What do you mean how? Like, because you got 4 games left instead of 5, so you can
Okay.
only have 4 wins instead of 5. Like,
But okay,
so you still got to play Baltimore. Baltimore only has 1 game that's going to be like crucial for them outside of our game, which is San Fran. So outside of that, so if you have, you know, Baltimore went out, it's a wrap for them. We were tied with Baltimore, and now they have a game lead on us.
but the point I'm making is that even if we had beaten Tennessee, we would have had to have we would have had to have won out to win the 1 seed, assuming that Buffalo wins out as well. The game against Buffalo was always going to be key. It's still key. That's the point I'm making. Win or lose against Tennessee, you needed to win out. We lost, and guess what? We need to win out. Had we won, we'd have sat here going, hey, the 1 seed looks even better, but you know what? We need to win out. There's no point in beating Tennessee and beating the Paper Plains and then losing the last 3 because you don't get the 1 seed. Just going to go for some comments very, very quickly. Yeah. Keith Bender says, good evening, all from Scotland. The dreary weather fits my mood today. Color commentary says, Ravens play the Niners this week. Adds, Buffalo had to play Dallas just like us. Digging in the trenches says, we can't be so complacent with all this Tyreek stuff. You want to win. Run the ball. Look at the numbers. When we run the ball, we win. Robert Ashton says, in some sort of twisted logic, Cads is right and suppose this is the best game we could have lost. Major reality. Major reality check and a lot of knuckling down, ultimate focus, drive, determination. Color says, the paths are so clear this year. It makes sense. 13-4 wins the bye. 12-5 wins the East. Digging the trenches says, win 3 out of 4. We are good. The ship has sailed on the 1 seed, 1 at a time. I disagree. The ship has not sailed on the 1 seed. It's just harder. But as far as I know,
now you said it's harder. I'm just saying, how does that work?
Okay, you had to win out to win the 1 seed. We sat here going before the Tennessee game to win the 1 seed. You beat Tennessee, you beat Paper Plains, you beat Dallas. You definitely have to beat the Ravens, and then the chances are the 1 seed is clinched. But you want to beat Buffalo anyway. So essentially, you win 4 out of 5. So, okay, so before Tennessee, it was win 4 out of 5 to win the 1 seed. Yeah. Now it's win 4 out of 4. You need to win 4 games. Like
no. But see,
what
here's
do you
the
mean?
thing. Here's the difference. The difference is that last game probably would have been determined by us. Like, do we want to go for 2,000 for Tyreek? We got the 1 seed already. We can rest players. We probably playing them for a half. You know what I'm saying? So it was probably would have been more likely clinched by them. Now it's you have to win that game too. And now the thinking is probably going to be, well, do we want to risk players knowing that we have at least the 2 seed? You see what I'm saying? Or do we want to go all out and try to win this game and risk players' health against Buffalo? But that's too. That's bro. We got to win games. That's too far. Yeah. But I'm not going to split hairs with you about especially when you said it's harder now, which is what I said. I don't understand how like we arguing if you said it's harder too. But go ahead. You about to do something.
No, Kyler said Baltimore is the key to the top seed. It always has been. We can go in 1 game down because beating them evens the records and gives us the tiebreaker. I did want to discuss one thing, I guess, before we get to the game, and that's basically this narrative after the defeat that Tua's not it. He's not the MVP, and in November and December he went to bed. So the first thing I said was that, well, we won last week against Washington, so as a December win. So the whole he can't win December thing is nonsense. Like, stop doing this. I know as the lead conductor of the Tua train, has your confidence wavered in him, or was it like, yo, we was up 27-13. How would this loss on Tua when the defense gave up 15 points in 3 minutes? Like that's my thing. What's your thing? For those listening on Spotify or podcast, Charlie Touche got up, sat back down, and has changed hats. He now has the Chris Greer conductor train hat, but I have a feeling it has a different meaning on this episode right now. Charlie,
just because just because you said the Tua conductor train, like I had to get my conductor hat. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, this Tua is it, bruh. Like, Tua had this dime, this pass to Tyreek Hill, tight window Tua. When the ball left his hand, I like this is one of the prettiest passes Tua has ever thrown in his career. As it came out, I'm like, oh, that's a ball right there. As it came, I didn't, the play was not even completed yet. And I'm like, oh, that's a ball. And then lo and behold, tight window Tua appears. But none of this December stuff, cold weather game, can't win big game. None of that matters to me, bro. Like the dude is a dude. If we're doing this with Tua, then we got to bring every single quarterback except Patrick Mahomes to the table. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. When does he get the injury prone tag? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, everyone has to get that type of conversation. So no, I'm not tripping on Tua, bro. Yeah, like yesterday, could he been a little bit better? Probably, but he was working behind a Switzerland cheese O-line. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, yeah, bro. Everybody could have been better, bro. Coach McDaniel got to run the ball inside the 5-yard line, bro. Like, we got too cute. Tua has a record. He has a streak. We want to get him a touchdown pass, keep the streak alive. Yo, punch the ball in, bro. You know what I'm saying? That pass that was fumbled, Eichenberg and Tua exchange, that was going to be a pass from the 1-yard line, bro. I don't like passes from the 1-yard line, bro. Like, go see Seattle versus New England in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like, run the ball multiple times. I hate the Florida State Seminoles, bro. I love Bobby Bowden. The man said, if you can't run the ball 4 times from the 2-yard line and get in, you don't deserve to get in. And that's the type of football I subscribe to. Anyway, that being said, bro, nah, bro, that's foolishness. Tua's not the problem. We didn't win the game. We didn't lose the game because Tua didn't show up or something. Like, bro, this was Coach McDaniel said it's a team loss. It's a team loss. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, bro. But all that Tua foolishness, bro. Like, I'm not even responding to that stuff, bro. Like, Tua's it. You're gonna have games. You're gonna throw a couple picks. Mahomes got more picks than Tua. Allen got more picks than Tua. Who else got more picks than Tua? A lot of people got more picks than Tua, and he didn't throw picks. But anyway, yeah, man, I'm not tripping on Tua, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, Robert Ashton says 1C no longer in our hands, relying on results now. Not necessarily.
Yes, Dolphins necessarily, bro.
No, but no.
Because if the all right, go ahead.
I think, go ahead. No, I was gonna say if the Dolphins win out, they have the 1 seed because they would have beaten.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like
we would have beat Baltimore.
That's saying, yeah, and Carlos said it. Yeah, like, and that's the thing. Charlie's point, beating Titans would have allowed us to padding to lose to Dallas, and I understand that we've lost that cushion for the 1 seed at the very least. We haven't lost a cushion for the AFC East. The AFC East is, in my opinion,
there's a little less cushion, Kadeem, for the AFC East, bro. Like we were 3 games up on Buffalo. We're only 2 games up on Buffalo now. And if I'm being real with you, we're only a game and a half up on Buffalo because they beat us already. So we were 2.5 games up. Now we're only a game and a half up. It's legitimate. Buffalo could win the AFC East still, bro. That's legit. That's legit.
But again, Buffalo could have won in the AFC, but Buffalo had a chance to win the AFC East before the game on Monday.
But it's more likely now. It's better, not likely. It's better chances now.
But yeah, it's better chances. But again, that's why we're saying if on Monday Dallas beats Buffalo and we beat the paper planes, we're back to go in with the AFC East are done. Like, until because it then becomes.
But you could have did that today. We could have did that today though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
100. Well, again, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying the outcome is still the same. Like, and this is us assuming that we wet the bed and Buffalo goes on this insane run, which, let's be honest, if you're Buffalo right now, you're going, hey, we can catch these guys. All it takes is a Buffalo loss on Sunday, whenever they're playing Dallas, and a Dolphins win, and it's like, oh, okay. But we're kind of going back and forth on that. Shout out to Kenneth Rankin, says, "What's up, fellas?" Robert Ashton says, "Not lost faith in Tua. He had the ability, but shot cover, he's not perfect. No QB is perfect. He has strengths and weaknesses, just like everyone other quarterback. He's are just highlighted and dissected more." So Thing in the Trenches says, "Throwing all the records out the window and just start winning football games. Let's get gritty." And Kenneth Rankin says, Tua should have stepped up when he needed a player to step up. Be real, bro. I thought, yeah, there are just long. I keep missing them. Keith says, "Charlie White. Everyone was at fault yesterday, though the defense really needs to make a stop." Kenneth says, "How do you have an MVP candidate on your team and he does nothing to help the team win?" When Tyreek was out, that was Tua time to show he's a real MVP candidate. Again, I kind of understand it, but also, like, to me, it was just one game. There's been times this season when Tyreek has gone down, be it with cramp, be it with a hand injury against the Raiders, and we've been fine. Like, obviously, Tyreek Hill came back earlier, but again, just my opinion. If you're up 14 with 3 minutes left, a defense gets a stop. Just one. One stop. One stop would be amazing. That's all you've got to do. Yes, Tua had the ball, could have, the offense could have iced it with
multiple times. It doesn't matter.
multiple times. Yeah, like it is what it is. Like, we lost.
Hey, what do you make of the mad genius Mike McDrip drawing up the dopest plays, being the dopest coach in the NFL, and then turns out being like the dopiest coach when we need him to be the dope coach? Like, bro, like the screen pass at the end of the game behind the line, we don't have no timeouts, 40 seconds on the clock. Like, this is what we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Like, and throwing the ball, getting cute inside the 2-yard line. What do you make of the lapse of whatever it is that coach goes through from time to time? And it's gotten better, but it's still there, and it shows itself at the worst times. What do you make of that?
I think, like, you call him a mad genius, and that's the thing, is that it's for all of these amazing plays and all the motion and like what he's done to this team and this offense, he's also human. And the way I see it, none of these plays are designed to be negative. They all have, it's all, if it goes well, it's going to be amazing. I'm annoyed by how often we throw behind the markers, behind the line of scrimmage. Like you said, especially when it's like you have no timeouts, you have to drive down the field. In this NFL, again, I get it, Tyreek Hill is injured, but you still got, Hill and Waddle, or you still got Waddle. I'm not saying be dumb, but test this Titan secondary once, because, hey, worst thing happens. I say worst thing happens. Obviously, you might turn the ball over and you lose. That can be really annoying. But the flip side is that you might get a flag and put yourself in field goal range. Like, what annoyed me was that we didn't even try to really, really try and test them.
I think that was the O line though. Like, I think they felt like we didn't have time with the O line. Like, bro, the O line what we had one starter on the O line.
Yeah,
going into the second half, maybe. You know,
so,
you know what I'm saying? Eichenberg was playing center. Connor goes down. Connor Williams goes down, and you lose two people when Connor Williams goes down. You lose your center and your left guard, because now your left guard is playing center, and someone else has to come in and play left guard, and Eichenberg is not a center, right? So yeah. I think that was, we don't have time to go over the top. But what I would have preferred, Kadeem, was Tyreek to be on the field. Like, 100%. He wasn't even on the field when it was the last drive of the game, and he's not even there. Oh, he's hurt. Oh, we're good. We don't gotta cover him. At least, and then they put him in. You know what I'm saying? So at least have him, because he looked pretty good running the motions. And I'm not questioning his toughness at all. Because clearly he was still running motions and stuff. So what I'm saying is, if we're gonna do this, at least put him on the field as a decoy and let him run around and do all this stuff to look his way and watch everybody go that way, as opposed to not even having him out there. And then now we're just, yeah, man, it was just not good, bro. And I can't believe I promised Kadeem. I verbally I audible when I said this. At least we won tonight. 2 minutes on the clock. Up 14. I'm like, at least the Dolphins won. Like, it was an ugly game. At least we won. Nah, we ain't even win, bro.
So there's a few comments that I don't agree with. One, Kenneth Rankin says, lack of offense this game, defense did enough to win. Spoiler alert, Dolphins were up 14 points with 3 minutes left. Defense gave up 15 points. Defense did not do enough to win because the offense were up 14 points and the defense allowed 15 points. That's the first thing. Second thing, digging in the trenches. Really, the blocked field goal cost us the game. Facts, it did not, because you were up 14 points with 3 minutes left and deep. Like, I'm grateful for all the comments, but this whole, this cost us, if it's in the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, or even the fourth quarter, it doesn't matter when you are up 14 points with 3 minutes left in the game. The blocked field goal, no one talking about the blocked field goal when you're up 14 points, because like Charlie and multiple other people said, hey, the game is done. It's finished. Finito. In our minds, it's done. The Bradley Chubb helmet thing. Hey, guess what? No one cares and no one talking about it because you're up 14 points with 3 minutes left. If it's different, like if someone said that Zach see the penalty at the end of the game, I might have a conversation there. And that
I
penalty,
don't even think that was a penalty.
Matter
of fact, that wasn't even a penalty. Like they robbed us on that. Like we shifted. And delay again, y'all, man. Y'all made the offense jump when y'all shifted. Sorry, y'all can't do that. What?
We shift so much. That's just like, you can literally see even the Titans are walking back going, great. Like the receiver was like, that's it. Like, I've cost us the game. The Dolphins were like, hey, we got out of here. Penalty, delay game. Look, what are you smoking? Like, what are we doing? Digging in the trenches says, draft guys that are not injury prone, build a wall in front of him, go and take more than Austin Jackson. Well, is it Chris Greer that's like being injury prone in college or not being injury prone? Like, it doesn't matter. Once you get to the NFL, you just never know. All it takes is one hit, and your whole career is altered. You could be the most injury prone guy in college. You get to NFL, and you're completely fine.
See Andrew Luck, with that. Andrew Luck retired in 7-8 seasons. Wasn't injury prone at all until he came to the NFL and looked like a UFC fighter because everybody was beating up on him. But at the same time, the offense, the O-line is not the problem. Like this is the O-line was a problem last night because there was 4 backups in playing. Like that's it. So the O-line is not the Dolphins' problem. Yes, I do believe. By the way, Sports Illustrated, because this is for Charlie Touche. I do the Touche's 24, and I start looking at prospects around this time of the year, college prospects coming out into the draft, and Sports Illustrated and CBS, maybe I can't. There's a couple platforms have the Eagles drafting at 32 and the Dolphins drafting at 31. So it's projected that it's going to be a Eagles Dolphins Super Bowl, and the Dolphins will lose to the Eagles. Dolphins pick 31. And this is as of 2 days ago. So even still, Dolphins go to the Super Bowl in that scenario and lose the Super Bowl, I'm still drafting 2 O-linemen. Bam, back to back. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but the O-line is not the Dolphins' problem. You know what I'm saying? We have a really good, the O-line has been exceeding expectations. It's one of the best in the league, honestly. And that's not just, that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, we're just jaded Dolphin fans that our default is O-line. And we should get some depth on it, but O-line was a problem yesterday. It's not a problem for the team.
Yeah. Kenneth Rankin says, crazy how you'll blame the head coach when everyone was loving how he had to win the MVP conversation. What I will say, even when he had that, and even last year when it was amazing, Charlie was like, hey, coach, pick some things up. You're not perfect and it's really jarring. So how about we get these errors out now? Like, come to the podcast and you will see we'll be winning, we'll be 9-3. We're still like, hey, we still have problems. Like, we're not perfect.
Yeah, and this is not blaming the coach. This is the entire team, including the coach. This is the defense. This is the O-line. This is look. Matter of fact, coach, you gotta, bro, get out of your own way. You know what I'm saying? Call run plays when we need to call run plays. You know what I'm saying? Don't call gadget plays with no timeouts with 40 seconds on the clock. O-line, stop looking like you're from Switzerland. You know what I'm saying? Defense, Bradley Chubb. I need you to not come an inch away from the ball 5 times in the game and actually get there one of these times. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nice that you're putting pressure on the quarterback, but I need you to get home, bruh. $150 million. You know what I'm saying? Tua, bruh, I need you to find a way to win it when it's improbable. You know what I'm saying? That's what the great quarterbacks do. And Tua's not great yet. You know what I'm saying? And we want him to be great, but he's not great yet. And I got the bullhorn. You know what I'm saying? I got the Tua bullhorn. You feel me? But we have to find a game where it's like, yo, he gutted that out. He pulled that one out his what, and we got the W. And we needed that a couple times this year. You know what I'm saying? But it hasn't happened. So this is not just on coach, bro. Like, this is not blame. This is an assessment. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody got to be better. Everybody.
Yeah. And Digging the Trenches kind of says that. He says, Robert, he's fighting himself. He just needs to let the plays come to him and stop trying to force things when they force you to play volleyball. You play volleyball. Sometimes the situation, again, in the red zone, hey, coach, try run the ball. You got Raheem Mostert, really good in the red zone. You might want to try run the ball. And it's just like, and the thing is, so very quickly, he got there. He got there in the fourth quarter, ran the ball in the red zone, scored 2 touchdowns. It's like, shouldn't have taken that long. But again, listen, I can't keep on doing this.
Yeah, and something about the running thing is Titans have one of the best run defenses. So I can understand the logic, but on the 2-yard line, bro, multiple attempts, you're gonna just pass the ball from under center. And I hate the 5'8" fade that we throw to Tyreek Hill all the time, bro. I hate it. Although it worked once in a while. Like, bro, come up with something else, bro. I don't like that, bro.
Yeah, like, I feel like once we get into the red zone, we are quite predictable. Like, when you threw that fade to Tyreek Hill, I was like, yo, I saw that coming. So if I can see that coming in my bed at 5 a.m. in the morning, then so can the Titans. Digging the Trenches says, yeah, but if you made that field goal, you win the game by 1 point, so it's facts. See, like, the way the world works, that it's not facts, because if you score that field goal, then the entire of the rest of the game changes. Like, the same plays aren't in sequence, because like that's just not how it works. Like, I can understand that, yeah,
Right.
you win the game by 1 point, but if you
does
score the field goal,
does Tennessee go for 2? You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
it
again,
changes a lot.
everything changes, because all of a sudden you kick off and you kick the ball back to, it might go at the end zone, or maybe it's a fumble. Like, you just don't know what happened. So I understand that logic, and it's a conversation that sports fans have quite a lot. Well, if that goal went in, then blah blah. But unfortunately, that's not the way the world works. Like, if I choose to go left instead of right, like, my entire life has changed. Again, the butterfly effect.
Red pill, blue pill.
Yeah. Robert Ashton said Chris Greer to draft all of Touche 24 and will be golden. No pressure, Charlie.
Got you.
Again, we've got a load of comments. I'll try and get through them as quickly as possible. Digging the Trenches says, I disagree. The old line is the problem, which means O-line. Half the linemen you got are injured, always hurt. So how is the old lot not the problem? Want to comment on that, Charlie?
I mean, literally, the O-line is like top 10 this year. That's just a fact. Dolphins have a top 10 O-line. That's just a fact.
Yeah, it's again.
We could be better. We could be improved. We could be better. But they're not the reason we're losing games like when we had the 22nd or the 32nd ranked O-line, like, yeah, the O-line was the problem. The O-line was literally the reason we were losing games. We're not losing games because of the O-line now. Maybe yesterday we lost because of the O-line. That's what I'm saying. Yesterday, we could put that on the O-line, but I think it was more than just the O-line yesterday. I think it was a team loss. But when we lost to the Eagles, we didn't lose because of the O-line. You know what I'm saying? When we lost to Buffalo, we didn't lose because of the O-line. When we lost to the Chiefs, it wasn't because of the O-line. So that means for me, the O-line isn't the problem. We're not losing games because of the O-line, is what I'm saying, except for yesterday. If someone wanted to bring that to the table, we lost because of O-line, I'm here for that. I'm okay with that because we had all backups in. But we can't just make a podcast out of every single comment. We do gotta get in the bonus time.
Yeah, definitely. We'll try and get through some comments, but everyone who has commented so far, brilliant, love it. Like, we genuinely do appreciate it. Unfortunately, yeah, we can't at the very least, we can't respond to all comments. So I will read through the comments because you commented. I appreciate it. We then get to bonus time. Tim Cavo says we will need O-line, can't pay them all, and we'll have spaces with some starters leaving. Digging in the trenches says I'm getting 2 vets and drafting 2. Kenneth Rankin says, so why couldn't we move the ball without Tyreek? Shout out to Heat Dolphins. Says this is on Tua. He can't play without Tyreek. It showed in the game last night. He then adds without Tyreek, this offense is nothing. Digging in the trenches says he can't until he does. Then says anything 3rd and 4th or under, I'm running. And Tim Cabot says passing when you should run is clever when they think you're running. Line up empty and shotgun is not making people think you're running. That's nothing I hate about.
So real quick before we go on to bonus time, shout out to Kenneth Rankin and Heat Dolphins. This is going to answer both of y'all questions. One about Tyreek is not offense is nothing without Tyreek, and why we couldn't get the ball. Why couldn't we move the ball without Tyreek? If there was a healthy O-line, I think it would have been different without Tyreek. You see what I'm saying? So now you had no Tyreek and an unhealthy O-line. You have 4 backups in. So that's a perfect storm to being unsuccessful. So if you have an O-line, I think you're going to have a better offense. I don't want to say better offense without Tyreek, but the offense is going to look better if Tyreek was not in it, as opposed to having backups and then backup O-line and your number 1 receiver. A lot of offenses in the NFL will look like the Dolphins did last night if they had 4 backups on the O-line and were without their number 1 receiver. It is what it is, but like they said prior to the game, shout out, and they nailed it on the head, the broadcast. I can't remember if it was Orlowski or Louis Riddick, but he said the Miami Dolphins fan base went from hope to expectations. And the only reason we're mad and upset and sour is because we have expectations now. It's not just hope anymore. Like, oh, I hope we could do something. I hope we could make the playoffs. I hope we could do this. I hope we could get help. Like, nah, bro, we expect to win. We expect to show up. We expect to hang 30 on the Titans. We expect a lot of things. We expect greatness now. And I just think it goes from you got to take steps. You know what I'm saying? You got to crawl before you walk. You know how they say that? You got to walk before you run and run before you fly, all the good stuff. I think a lot of fans want us to be a juggernaut, meaning, yo, we're just a buzzsaw and we run through people and we hang 70 on everybody. And it's possible. And that's why people want us to be that. Like, it's possible for us to be this juggernaut of an NFL football team, but we're not even a great team yet. We're just some could argue we're not even a good team. You know what I'm saying? So we have to take the requisite steps before we could become what everybody wants us to become. And at the minimum, we have expectations now, and we have to play up to those expectations. You want to say something before we go to bonus time, Kadeem?
I could go for another hour, but we've got bonus time to get to, so all you, man.
Y'all know what time it is. Come on over to bonus time, argue with us some more. We appreciate all of y'all though, for real. All the comments, and we'll adjust some more in the bonus time, the comments in the bonus time. But y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
Some good news. Friend of the podcast, Javon Holland, is optimistic about playing in week 15. Be great to have some more players back, but we'll see.
So yeah, like even Robert Hunt didn't play. Friend of the podcast, Robert Hunt, Javon Holland didn't play, and I think it was we should be able to get past the Titans without you guys. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't. So I think if we had the luxury of seeing the future, and the Dolphins said, "Hey, we're gonna lose if you guys don't play," I think they could have went. You see what I'm saying? So I think they thought, we should be able to get past the Titans without you guys, and now they're gonna come back.
It's one of those things where it's happened a few times this season where injured players have come back and they've just haven't played, and then was like, "Well, why don't you play them?" And up until now, we've won, and it hasn't really been much of an issue. But yesterday we lost, and again, it's you put it so well before, but before we got into bonus time, it's an expectation. Like, good teams lose to bad teams all the time. It happens in the NFL. On paper, it shouldn't happen, but it does. And I think yesterday we became the last team to lose a game which we probably should have won on paper. Because prior to that, everyone had lost to at least one team. You think, well, how does that happen? Like, it took us to get to week 14, and we took for granted that, hey, if you don't turn up for 60 minutes, you end up losing the game. And hey, it's a great feeling to have. It's just annoying. But it's frustrating. It is what it is. Loads more comments. Digging in trenches says we're losing games because they're not available. That's what I'm getting at. And stop contradicting yourselves. Did we lose because of the O-line, or did we not? Because I've seen you flip-flop like 3 times.
Hold on. Let me adjust that right there. So he says, stop contradicting yourself. Did we lose because of the O-line, or did we not? And prior to that, he said the O-line is the problem. He said I disagree. The O-line is the problem. So here's where I didn't contradict myself. I said the O-line didn't lose a game for us this year. We lost 4 games, and none of them were on the O-line. However, if someone wanted to put last night's game on the O-line, I'm okay with that. But I said this was a team loss. It was on the coach. It was on the defense. It was on the O-line. And I said all of that. So it's not a contradiction. However, we still have one of the best O-lines in the league. So no, out of the 32 teams in the NFL, no team has 8 starting O-linemen. So when you have 4 backups starting or playing on your team, that's an issue. So that's where I'm at with that. But go ahead, Kadeem.
I'll get through a few of the comments, and there's something I want to discuss very quickly, which I don't want to save for extra point on Patreon, because the last few times we've had discussions where you're like, this needs to be a podcast conversation. So yeah. Kenneth Rankin says, or could it be without Tyreek speed, the O-line is nothing? Robert Ashton says, we're not a consistent team, I guess. Heat Dolphib says, no, I don't think so, because it was still the same when Tyreek was hurt up before. Shout out to Joe Levesque. Welcome says, that was a rough game and sucks about Williams. Digging Trenches last says, but we don't need O-line. And then Heat Dolphib says, take Tyreek off this team to it. It's nothing. It shows we are force feeding him to get those 2,000 yards. And Matt McDaniel trying to make Tua something he's not. I don't know whether we're going to have a podcast tomorrow being Wednesday. If we do, I'm happy to have a Tua conversation, because I feel like that's just dominating headlines right now. But my quick question to you right now, Liam, Connor Williams is probably done for the season. Like, we're probably going to hear he's done. We had this conversation when he got injured last time. We had to have it again. Do you bring up Alama Uluwave, play him center, and keep Liam Eichenberg at guard, or even sign a center off the street? Because essentially we're at a point where we've had 2 Liam Eichenbergs this season. We've had the guy at center, dude, you're not that good, you probably should be cut. And the guy at guard, dude, you're really, really good, this is your future. So one or yeah. What should we? What do we? Charles on the phone because I'll go through a few more comments as he's on the phone. Robert Ashton says Tua has weaknesses and he has strengths. Why have a pivotal player and not provide best opportunities to succeed with players that mesh with his skills? Kenneth Rankin said, didn't Tua have a chance to put the game on ice? Yes, he did, but the defense had a chance to get a stop and didn't twice. Keith says, really not caring about the rest of the season, since the focus has to be on beating the Jets next week. The most important person on the team is Butch Barry to see what it can do with the offensive line. And then we have conversations about center, so I'll let Charlie go first.
Is this thing on? Listen, if you don't bring up Alama Uluave now, if not now, when? Like, if not now, when? This is pending if Connor Williams availability. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he's done for the season, he's done. Like, and this could be one of those red shirt things. Like, oh, he needs development, and we want to see him develop. But man, bro, it would have been nice to have him in one of those games where we bench the starters to have him get some reps so we could see what he looks like against a NFL defense. And we're talking about Alama Uluave. And I think Digging in the Trenches said, but we don't need O-line, hinting like that I said we don't need O-line. However, I said we should draft O-line first round and second round in the draft this year. So not sure what you're hearing, but I didn't say we didn't need O-line. I still say I would address the O-line because the 10th best O-line is not better than the first best O-line. I want my O-line to look like Jalen Hurts O-line. Like, bro, dude is chilling. You feel me? So, yeah, man, everybody can improve. Every O-line in the league can improve. But what's that face, Kadeem?
You said you want Jalen Hurts' O-line, yeah?
Yeah.
What was the Eagles score on Sunday?
I should say from last season. Jalen Hurts O-line from last season.
And again, I'm not saying that the Eagles lost because of the offensive line, but like the Eagles put up 13 points against Dallas Cowboys. They found a way to get to Hurts. Hurts has been injured this year as well. Like, you can have the best offensive line in the league. Great guys. Once guys start getting injured and backups come in, you're only as good as your weakest link. And like you said earlier, no team has 8 all-pro starters offensive linemen. You just don't. Would it be ideal if some of our backups again? I'm not going to go round in circles. You need to bring up Uluave or find a center this week because Liam Eichenberg at center is not the answer. And you've had these situations where in some games against bad defensive lines, he's been okay, but you have no more bad defensive lines over the next few weeks. You just don't. So I can understand if Uluave isn't quite ready to take on the Jets defensive line, the Cowboys Eagle line, defensive line, all that kind of stuff. You need to fire one off the street. But I also understand the fear and worry about signing someone off the street who doesn't have that connection with Tua and you have snap issues. What I will say to that is that Williams has snap issues and so does Eichenberg. So in my opinion, you can't really get any worse. You need, instead of having 2 issues at O-line at both guard and center, only have 1. And if that's at center and the other 4 guys are okay, in my opinion, that's probably the best of a really bad situation. And shout out to William Tucker because he just commented, could have ran the ball to help the O-line out. The pass was not working. So, yeah.
Bro, listen, I'm okay with people being hurt, right? That's the NFL. Every team goes through injury. Everybody's gonna lose people, right? So it's a war of attrition. You know what I'm saying? Like who built the better roster? So I'm okay if the O-line is hurting, right? Or I'm okay if Tyreek is fighting through his injuries. I'm not okay with both of them happening at the same time because that's what last night was. And that's how bad it looked. That's when it looks really bad. It's like, dang, bro, this is not good. So at one point, I was like, yo, I'm okay if Tyreek missed the game and our line was straight, was solid. I'm okay with it. But to lose them both, to lose O-line and Tyreek at the same time, that's not 1 seed material. But nah, man. Hey, you know what? I needed to say this because we were talking about extra point and saying stuff on our Patreon that we might not say necessarily say on this podcast. Patrick Mahomes is lame, bro. For going after the refs for your teammate being offside. Like, bro, you a sucker for that, bro. The man offside, and Patrick Mahomes came out and said, well, I don't think you made that call in that time. Like, bro, it's against the rules, bro. Like, what kind of privileged future Hall of Famer are you? Well, don't make that call against my team because we're the face of the NFL. Like, what? Get out of here, bro. Your dude was offside, bro. Go holler at your dude before you go holler at the refs and make it look like you got pressure with the refs, bro. That's lame.
It's for I don't know, we're kind of running long. For any long-term Go Time Dolphin listeners, do you remember the Washington Giants game where he's the receiver and he's looking to the ref? He's like, "Yo, we good? We good?
Yeah.
We good? Yeah, we good? Yeah, we're good." He's not the ball. The ref goes,
It was
offside. He's like,
McLaurin. It was
yeah, and
McLaurin.
he's the ball. He's like, offside. It's like,
McLaurin.
yo, like we just did this. Like we just said we're good.
Yeah.
Tony didn't even Tony done the you're good, but he went and like he didn't even check. So
No, he didn't check.
So if he had checked, he would have found out he wasn't good. And then yeah, listen, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I think what's even better is that Waddle was offside yesterday, and the rest of the called it. And everyone's like, "Oh!" It's like, well, yeah, hold that. Like, very, very quickly, Mike McDaniel's at the podium right now. Deshaun Elliott is in concussion protocol. Armstead is day to day, and it's conceivable he played this week. Robert Hunt is still week to week. McDaniel says he'll be pleasantly surprised if friend of the podcast Robert Hunt plays this week. And yeah, seems that's the confirmation. Connor Williams tore his ACL on Monday night beat the Titans. His season is done.
That's tough, bro. No center, no left guard. That's tough.
Listen,
That's a
we'll
tough
get to
one, bro.
We'll get to all of that as the week goes on. Shout out to everyone who has commented. Apologies we haven't got through to everyone. It's people want to talk and we love it. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll, keep commenting. We'll try and read through and get to them all, as we go along. But make sure you're subscribed, and we shall see you. Oh no, we'll not see you. Can I do something very quickly? Yes, we shall see you on the next one. Peace.